Okay, let's talk about Who's America and how to write the essay. So, first thing we're going to talk about is the organization of your essay. First sentence, because it's a one paragraph essay, the very first sentence is going to be your thesis statement. Now, you need to make sure that your thesis statement is an arguable point, one that you can look back on and say, no, that's not true. It needs to be tightly connected to the movie or the book. That means it needs to include the name of the movie or book. You need to mention some characters that are in there because that's typically what the question is asking you about, and you need to make sure that it answers the essential question that you chose. You don't just make a statement about the film. You need to state something that is answering the question. Your next sentence needs to be a context sentence. Now, it could be your second and third sentences, but you want to try and get this into just one sentence. So you need to say what the movie or the book is about. So for example, you could say To Kill a Mockingbird tells the story of, try not to tell the whole story, just a very brief overview of what the main storyline is. That is your second sentence. Then you've got the main body of your paragraph. You're going to use specific information from the movie or book to really prove your answer. So it needs to be detailed and specific, not a general conversation about it. You need to use quotations. Two, shoot for two quotations. Be sure to use those in-text citations as well. Be sure to connect it to the point that you're making. How does this answer your essential question? And then the last sentence is your conclusion sentence. This wraps everything up. It should be kind of a restatement of your thesis idea. Be sure to have one. Otherwise, it's like trying to eat a hamburger without the bottom bun because everything just kind of falls apart. Next, I've got some writing tips to keep in mind when you're doing your paper. Do not use personal pronouns in analytical writing. Personal pronouns are ones like we, our, I, me. You do not use those in analytical writing. Check your paper to make sure that you don't have any of those. Don't use I think. Well, we already know this because it's your paper. This is how analytical writing in English is different from scientific writing. So when you're writing a lab, you're going to say, I will show that blank. When you say I will show that in English, you are insulting your audience. So it should be evident that what you are proving just by the person reading your essay. The title of your paper for these assignments, the essay about the movie and the essay about To Kill a Mockingbird, the title of your paper should be the essential question that you chose. Only capitalize the first word and then any proper nouns like American. Do not capitalize every word. Just write it exactly as it appears in your assignment. For in-text citations, you should have at least two quotations as part of your paper. Three is great. You should also use proper MLA formatting for in-text citations. So for a book, that's the author's last name and the page number in parentheses with no comma in between. So Lee 23 would be for To Kill a Mockingbird. For a movie, you're going to just use the movie title, like Rain Man. You don't need to use timestamps, just the title. If you're in college and you're taking a film class, then go ahead and use timestamps if you're really talking about that. But because we're just pulling out information from the movie, you only need to cite the movie name. One thing, for the movie To Wong Foo, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, and if there are other films that are really long like this, you can shorten it. So for this example, you could just use To Wong Foo. Movie and book titles should always be either underlined or italicized, even when you're using them as an in-text citation. So if you look at that previous example, if I had the movie title, it is italicized. Underline or italicize. Either way is fine, just be consistent. When you're citing conversations in a movie, you need to make sure that you are separating it by character and telling me which character is saying that. So here's my paper, an example. The widow does everything, this is from The Godfather Part 2. The widow does everything within her power to save her young son, knowing that Don Francesco will eventually come for him. Even so, Don Francesco shows no compassion, only his version of rational thought. And then it says the widow, what she says, he is weak. Don Francesco, he will grow strong. Widow, the child cannot harm you. Don Francesco, he will be a man, and then he will come for revenge. And then the citation is after that, The Godfather Part 2. So this is going to act as a block quotation. You're going to indent it, and you can see here how it's indented right here. This is the paragraph, a continuation of the paragraph, and this is going to be indented. And then you've got the title of the movie right afterwards, and it's italicized. So, some examples for setting up your essay. For example, if you choose what does it mean to be an American, ask yourself, being an American means what? What does it mean in this movie or in this book? So, a sample outline for your thesis would be in the film, whatever, Rain Man, The Godfather Part 2, being an American means to what? Make sure you have that answer. If you're choosing how do we react to people we do not understand, then you ask yourself, who in the movie doesn't understand someone, and what's that person's reaction? So a possible outline for your thesis could be in the movie, whatever your movie title is, this person, X person, doesn't understand Y person, and so he reacts with what? Fear, hatred, violence. If you're choosing what is the benefit of gaining a better understanding of someone, then ask yourself who in the film or the book doesn't understand someone. How does that person gain a better understanding? And then what is the benefit of gaining a better understanding? All too often, the papers are just showing that this person gains a better understanding of the other person. But the question says, what's the benefit of that? So for a sample thesis outline, you could say in the movie, whatever, X person gains a better understanding of Y person. And the benefit is that he forms a closer relationship, has more self-confidence. What is the answer? What is that benefit? And then we have what is the result of conflict between diverse groups of people? So if you choose this one, you're going to ask yourself, which two groups are diverse or different? What conflict arises between these groups? And then the answer to the question, what is the result of the conflict? That's what you're really trying to get at. So a sample thesis outline could be, in the movie, blank, the conflict between X person and Y person results in what? Anger, violence, hatred, something like that. Hope this has been helpful.